Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hey, yo, what up, everybody? It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is the Mike and Mish Show. Mike, what up? You look like you're in a better spot than you were at this time last year.
No, I'm in the same spot, just a different room. Back to the prison cell.
You know
Back
what?
to the prison cell for me.
You know what it is, guys? We are smack dab in the middle of the busy season for us Army guys, and Mike is in Pennsylvania for 2 weeks doing some training.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, though, your backdrop was just a solid white wall, so it looked like you were actually in a cell. And now look like you got the bunk behind you there, and maybe a window or a TV. What is that?
Oh, yeah, there's a window. I got a nice view of people walking in and out of this place. I got to keep a close eye on these soldiers, make sure they're doing the right fucking thing. You know what I mean? I got to
love
make sure
that.
they're doing the right thing.
That's right. Well, that's what you get for being in a leadership position, my friend. Guys, we are back, and we got a triple header for you guys tonight. It is a huge show. The newly appointed president of Ice Wars, BKFC Ice Wars, is going to be our first guest of the evening, Ian Heinisch. And then we're going to talk to Dan Indian Spice Chapman, who is returning from an injury and looking to, take a run at the featherweight title in the BKFC. And then Nash Diederichs is going to be fighting in the welterweight division June 14th at Mohegan Sun. So we're excited to talk to him too. Mike, why don't we shout out our sponsors? Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. You going to yuck it up for us or what?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
Here we go. Let's go.
Hey, Dynamic Life, sexual health, weight loss, and anti-aging. Retake control of your life by reaching optimal health. Visit www.livedynamic.com. It's the only online platform where you can become a patient in under 20 seconds. Also, check out their Instagram page at Live Dynamic. That's L-I-V Dynamic on Instagram.
Outstanding job, Mike. The yuck it up voice of all yuck it ups. And if you're done looking at Dynamic Life, head on over to the Rasha. It is the official mindset, performance, and recovery partner of the One Percenters, including the BKFC multiple champions in the BKFC and the Mike and Mish show. Their Instagram is at Rasha Elite. Their website is therasha.com. Check them out. Thank you to Dynamic Life and the Rasha for keeping the show going. Mike, you got anything to talk about before we bring on Ian?
No, man, I want to get right to this. I'm excited. I was watching some videos earlier about Ian. We're probably not going to get too much into that video, but we could bring it up. Insane, but also Ice Wars, right?
Absolutely.
Ice Wars.
Let's
Ice
do
Wars.
it. Let's
Ice
get him on
Wars.
here.
Ice Wars. We got to talk about it right now. We'll be right back after this.
What is going on, Ian Hurricane Heinisch? Thank you for coming on the show. Welcome to the Mike and Mish show. That's Mike. I'm Mish. How you doing, man? My friend.
I'm doing good, man. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Have you seen that promo yet?
No, that promo is fire, though. I loved it.
It's outstanding, man. The idea. We're going to talk a lot about that in a little bit here, but I want to thank you so much for coming on here, because when they announced that you were going to be part of the BKFC Ice Wars, a lot of us combat sports diehards know who you are, your time with the UFC, but also your background story. It's safe to say, you know that term, it's a movie. People use it way too fucking much. They're like, oh, it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a movie. Guys, if you don't know Ian, if there was ever a person whose life has been a movie, this is him. Would you say I'm correct about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a heck of a life, man, that I've lived, and I'm blessed to have this opportunity. I'm blessed to make it to the UFC top 10. You know, I felt my career got taken away a little bit short, a lot short for me, but you know, God has a purpose, and you know, I've been very successful outside of the octagon, crushing it in crypto. But you know, I commentated on the test version of Ice Wars before it partnered with BKFC. And the fights were special. Like, these fights are incredible. It's like, I thought it was just grab the shirt and punch each other in the face. You know, I wasn't even the biggest hockey fan, but I love watching the fights. But then when I watched these fights, it's like all these fighters have these crazy techniques. Like, some were boxing with their hands down, skating backwards, countering, slipping and ripping. There was others that would be more in the clinch and to like do like a pull, like what we do is like a pull away. They would look away, and the punch would miss them, and then they would come back with the right and get a knockout. And I was like, wow, these are some interesting techniques and amazing fights, and they're action-packed, right? It's short rounds, and these guys just meet. There's no feeling out in hockey fights. Like, these guys just come in swinging for the fences, and cardio and balance is king in this sport.
Everybody knows. Well, maybe not. The hockey diehards love the sport, but for the guys like me, I will be the first to admit I'm not the hugest hockey fan, but I do go to Bruins games every once in a while. And for me, a combat sports guy, the fights are the best part of the game for me. I love it when a fight happens. The crowd goes crazy. So what the BKFC did here, which I thought was like super smart, like brilliant, actually. Just like the UFC has Power Slap, That's like their side hustle. And they're getting massive numbers with their short videos, with the slaps. What's great about a hockey fight is they're pretty quick, man. If these guys are skilled, they could be quick fights, and you guys could be hitting millions on views on TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. This is brilliant. And I think, honestly, side hustle to side hustle, BKFC has something more exciting than Power Slap. It's just me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, you know, Dana White's done a good job. I love the UFC, but I mean, if you're going to be a fighter, an actual fighter, it's hard to get on board with someone who doesn't have defense, right? It's just hands down, take a shot. I know it goes viral. I know they're crushing it. Nothing against them. But these are actual fights. These are actual athletes. These are brawls. And they're short. They're fast. They're going to produce those viral clips that we're looking for. And imagine someone getting knocked out cold on the ice, bouncing off the ice, like with blood everywhere. Like this is going to turn the heads of everyone in combat sports. And whether you don't like hockey, whether you don't even like MMA, you're going to like Ice Wars because this is something fresh, something new, and we're trying to put an entertainment level on this that hasn't been seen, especially for, you know, a fight promotion. We want to bring kind of the WWE type style marketing. We want to bring killer fights, fast-paced, viral knockouts, and that's what the people love to see. And we're going to give it to them, and this is going to be a new sport, and it is. And you know, I'm excited for this debut, June 14th, Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Bare Knuckle Ice Wars is going to debut hockey fights with no gloves.
You know what's funny is I was actually telling somebody at work, and as I said at the beginning, I don't know if you caught it, but Mike and I are both in the Army. We're full time for the National Guard, actually full time, but we're basic active duty, but considered National Guard.
I have a buddy that's in the same.
Yep, everybody is doing all their training right now, so I'm surrounded by soldiers like more than normal right now. And I was talking about our show tonight, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, Heinisch coming on. He's this and this, and he's the new president of BKFC Ice Wars. And I explained what it is. The first question out of this one person, female's mouth, she goes, "What happens when they kick?" I'm like, "Who said they're gonna kick?" I'm like, "They're gonna be wearing ice. They're gonna be wearing hockey skates." She's like, "Oh, but you know, if they go down to the ice, then what?" I'm like,
then step on someone's throat. Yeah. It's over.
I'm like, nobody's gonna be slashing faces with their freaking feet, right?
No, it says finish him at the end. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
and then somebody fucking roundhouse kick. Done.
I'm just waiting for the first guy who takes his skate off and tries to go out the other fighter.
Happy Gilmore style.
But no, man, it's boxing style, right? I mean, you get dropped, you get the count, you know. So it's basically boxing, bare knuckle boxing on ice. That's what's so fitting for Bare Knuckle to fully back us. We're their sister program. And, you know, Ice Wars is almost $1 billion company. And we think we can grow extremely fast. We've already fast-tracked ourselves with having the Bare Knuckle backing. You know, we have an amazing team. We have matchmakers. We have the production team from Bare Knuckle. We have an amazing startup guy from Tom Brady's portfolio. Like, we are a well-oiled machine. We look to do 6 to 8 fights this year, and we're looking to do around 20 to 24 fights next year.
Wow.
You know what you said there, and Mike and I go to all the as many BKFC events as we can make it to, given our jobs. But the production value of a BKFC event is on par with the biggest MMA organizations in the world. UFC puts on a great show. Anybody that goes to a BKFC live show will know that is put on to the, they crank it to 11 and everything is perfect. They have an unbelievable production crew. And for them to be part of this, I know they're going to do it right. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm surprised that you guys are signing. I mean, I shouldn't be, but you're signing like actual former MMA fighters or still active MMA fighters. Like Charles Rosa. And I mean, does Charles Rosa have a background in hockey? Is he good on skates, or is he going to be Happy Gilmore out there?
No,
he's not the best skater.
His first love is hockey fights. Like there's actually Brian Keller, another UFC vet who he was a hockey player, big hockey guy. I mean, we have bare knuckle guys. That's what makes this so exciting. This is bringing you back to UFC beginning days, where you had jiu-jitsu against boxing, against wrestling, against, Taekwondo. Now we're finding who is the baddest man on skates, because we have straight up boxers, we have MMA fighters, UFC vets, Muay Thai fighters, and bare knuckle boxers stepping on the ice. And then you just have your straight up reservation chiefs from Canada who have born and raised and lived on skates their entire life. I mean, these guys love hockey. They love fighting. It's on their money. So it's going to be exciting to see who fares, who is the king of the rink.
The king of the rink. Here's the thing. So we're talking about this, of all these shows you guys are going to be putting on this year, next year, all the fighters that are signing, they're just one right after another after another. How the hell did we get here so fast?
Man, it's been crazy, man. It's truly a God thing. I never thought I was going to be president. I always prayed and wanted to be still connected to fighting. I had a terrible brain injury. I didn't even know if I was going to be back to my normal self. I could care less about fighting for almost a year and a half. It was a very scary time in my life. But after I healed and, I got fully into crypto, started making way more money than I ever made in fighting. And then I got this opportunity to commentate on one of the shows, Ice Wars. It was like a regional promotion. It was poorly ran. It was in Cheyenne, Wyoming. But the fights were special.
That's where BKFC began, Cheyenne.
Yeah. So that's the place to go for sketchy, unsanctioned fights. But we are getting sanctioned in state after state. And when people realize that this is a real sport, the same thing with bare knuckle boxing. We have Dave Felderman helping push this through, and he's blazed the trail for this bare knuckle boxing sport. And so I stayed in touch with Charlie, the owner. And the guy works his tail off. He's been grinding, and he got this connection with Dave Felderman. Everything just started to fall in place one after another. I mean, we're signing fighters left and right. I got Bellator fighters. We've signed 2 UFC fighters. I mean, we have everybody coming out, and we haven't even started our first show. We haven't even debuted the show. So in a week and a half, when the debut happens, I think it's going to be very special. And you're going to see this Ice Wars, bare knuckle Ice Wars, be the fastest growing combat sport promotion in the game.
You know what else you guys got going for you too is one of the hardest workers behind the scenes for BKFC has been a good friend of ours, Kevin Smith, Canadian boy, hockey lover himself. I think you know Kevin. Kevin is a fucking maniac, and anybody who goes to a live show and sees the behind the scenes stuff that dude does, he's a nonstop worker. And for him to be a big part of this, and you guys putting this thing together like you are, I can't imagine. I can't imagine it doesn't succeed, but I wanted to ask you, were you a hockey fan?
No, not a big hockey fan.
No, so you're like me, right? So
yeah, I would go to the hockey. Yeah, the best part of the hockey was the fights. So
Absolutely.
Now. And hockey's a fast-paced, agile sport. It's not like it's hard to watch. It's fun to watch, and I want to learn more about the hockey sport, but I also want to learn more about fighting techniques on ice, because that really fascinates me. But now we're taking away all the playing, all the pucks, all the sticks, and now we're just getting to the fun part, which is the fights, and we're signing some big guys, and this first show is going to be fireworks.
Talk about big guys. So the weight classes, right? There's 4 weight classes right now. And they span basically, lightweight under 150, middleweight 150 to 175, cruiserweight 175 to 200, and heavyweight anything over 200 pounds. So these are like 25-pound swings in the middle there. This is going to be some crazy ass fights. I don't know. How does that get decided? Because that's like, I don't know. Everything is so different. There's also going to be 2 refs. One's going to be like the main ref that calls everything in the fight. The other one's just an assistant, I assume, because they're on ice. So sometimes it might be hard for the ref to get to somebody, quick. How do they decide the divisions? It's wild. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're blazing the trail, man. A lot of things are changing. We're trial and error, a lot of stuff, but we have guys, north of 240 pounds that are going to be fighting on the ice on June 14th. So Is it an advantage? Of course, an advantage to be bigger and stronger, but now you're dealing with someone on skates. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. So I see some of these bigger guys, they're trying to cut down to be more agile, also to improve their cardio, because while it seems not a couple minutes fighting on the ice, when you're brawling on the ice, keeping your balance in the clinch, in each other's face, nonstop action, you have to have some serious cardio to be able to do this sport.
In the comment section, Big Ben took the words right out of my mouth. It's not like in the middle of a hockey game, two guys start scrapping with each other and they're like, yo, wait, how much do you weigh? Or how big? You know what I mean? When you get into a hockey fight, you're fighting the man in front of you, much like getting into a street fight in a bar. You're not going to call timeout and ask somebody how much it weighs. That's why this is very raw, and I like the idea. You talked about your brain injury that you had that cut your MMA career short. And I know that you were dealing with you were dealing with a lot of stuff from your past. Also, when you got into the UFC, I know that you're upset that the career was cut short, but did you get to enjoy yourself while you were there? Was your time with the UFC enjoyable for you?
Absolutely, man. That was one thing that I always did. I always told myself to enjoy the journey. And any fighter needs to enjoy the journey, because trust me, even though the training's tough, tired, sacrifice, it's such a fun journey, man. And I miss it to this day, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Fighting in Argentina, going out to London, fighting in New York, California, Las Vegas, sold out arenas. When COVID hit, it kind of killed the vibe a little bit with the Apex, but I enjoyed every single moment of it. And as a fighter, you never know when it's your last fight. So win, lose, or draw, you need to celebrate it, and you need to go out and have fun and capitalize on the moment. And I did every single time. Obviously there's always things you can look back and wish you did a little bit differently. But me, my family, my wife, we enjoyed every single moment of it. And we're excited to be on the other side of it, on the promoting side, and get to experience and mentor some of these fighters, because that's a big issue in fighting. You don't have that mentorship. We're looking for stars. We want to build people. We want to make sure, when people do get brain injuries, they're healing fully, so they can keep competing. But more importantly, they can have a career and a life after fighting. So I'm excited to be able to do things, from all the experience that I had. I've seen, terribly run promotions to mid-tier, all the way up to the cream of the crop, which is the UFC. And, I know what works and what doesn't, and we have such a great team. So I enjoyed my journey, and now I'm excited to be on the other side of the fight game and get to enjoy this journey.
I love that. Hey, that's a great answer. And it almost takes my last question for you was going to be, you have been through it all, like in the street, in professional fighting, you are successful in crypto. You have had an injury that cut you short. Are all these life lessons that you've gone through, you're like a walking redemption story right now. Like I said earlier, you take all these lessons that you've learned in the street, in fighting, and the troubles that you had and the good times that you had, and you apply that to BKFC Ice Wars. Do you think that you bring something more to the table that can help this thing blow up than anybody else they got out there?
Yeah, I mean, I bring a lot of qualities. I have good connections. I have street smarts. I have business smarts. I've been a hustler my whole life, whether it's legal or illegal. And, I think I bring a good aspect to this. I appeal to the younger generation. In my crypto journey, all I do is marketing. I do a YouTube show. So I have that marketing mindset now on top of everything that I know from being in the fight game, having this journey through that. So I think I bring a lot of assets to this, and I really vibe and have a good brotherhood with the owner. And man, we have such a good team. It's not just me behind the scenes. I'm here to do the interviews. I have the connections. I'm here to deal with the press and help market this and help use my mind. But it's going to take a village to take this to the top, and we have such a solid team. And I don't want to take all the credit for it at all, not even close. But I believe I'm the man for this job, and I bring with my specific assets and connections and skill set, I'm going to be a huge asset for them as being the president of Bare Knuckle Ice Wars.
Outstanding, man. Hey, June 14th, everybody. You guys can check that out. It's going to be huge. I think it's going to be a big thing for you guys for sure. Before we wrap up with you, I know that you're starting and you have become, I don't know if you were always very religious, but you've found God in your redemption, and like you have a new podcast coming out, or if it's already out. If you want to plug the other stuff that you're doing outside of Ice Wars, take a second and let everybody know, and then we'll wrap up with you, buddy.
Yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate the giving me the opportunity to speak on your show. Appreciate what you guys do and all this in the service that you do for this country. I have several things going on. Spirit and Truth Media is a faith-based podcast. We bring the most powerful testimonies of God to light and miracles. And my end goal is I'm opening up a treatment center to help people that went through the addiction, went through the depression and all these things, help them, give them a second chance like I had. It's going to be working on a ranch and MMA combined with a spiritual boot camp. So that's my end goal. If you like crypto, you want to learn, we're about to have an amazing blow off top in this bull run, the Crypto Kings on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter. And then, of course, man, follow BKFC Ice on Instagram. We are just starting the journey. This thing's going to blow up. We are selling out this event. Tickets are already almost gone, which is unheard of for a first show. So if you're near Michigan and you want to come see history being made on the debut, make sure you get your tickets to the Soaring Casino at Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And we're going to Canada next, and then we're going to be going to all over the country. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have great things to announce. Hopefully a big announcement coming up really soon. And appreciate again having me on this show. And I'm sure we'll be doing this again soon.
Absolutely. We will run into you again for sure. Thank you so much for coming on here. And maybe one other time we can do like a little long form, because anybody doesn't know his story, go watch Soft White Underbelly. It's on YouTube. Look up Ian Heinisch, Soft White Underbelly. Watch it on YouTube, and you'll be like I said, his life is a movie. It is no bullshit, man. It is no bullshit. And I believe, Mike, before we wrap up, did we run into him at the airport somewhere?
We did. Yes. It was,
and you probably don't remember. It was so quick. Go ahead, Mike.
It might have been like a year and a half to 2 years ago. I want to say it was in December, but I have no idea. That's a complete guess. Yeah, we ran into you. We actually all were getting our tickets, and we were like, "Hey, we cover BKFC. You should come on the show sometime." And then here we go. A little less than 2 years later, you're working BKFC Ice Wars, and you're on the show, which is really fucking cool. So,
wow. Yeah. I think I do remember that. So, wow, that was
very brief.
That was a while ago, man. Yeah, very brief.
It could have been Denver. Do you go back to Denver?
Oh, might have been.
Yeah, I mean, I do. That's where my mom and sister still live, so I go to Denver often.
I think it was in Denver. We were covering one of the BKFC events in Denver, and we were getting our tickets right here, and you were right next to us. And I was like, dude, that's Ian Heinisch right there. We're like, hey, how you doing? I'm Kyle. This is Mike. We got the Mike and Mish show, and we freaking.
That might have been after Rockhold Perry.
It really might have
41.
been.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
there you go, man. Well, we made it happen 2.5 years later, and I'm sure we'll do this again soon.
Yeah, we've got to make it to an Ice Wars event. We go to a lot of the BKFC events and cover them, and it's only natural that we start going to these Ice Wars too. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody else, make sure you're tuned in. What are you guys? Where can we see this fight? We can see the fights where?
It's going to be streaming everywhere you can see BKFC.
Okay.
So Fight
on
TV,
the app.
Triller, on the app. We believe so much in this. We want it to be free. No $10, $20 little pay-per-view. We want to push this product out. We want you guys to enjoy it. We want you to see what we envision for this promotion. And I think you guys are going to be very happy with the product. And I'm sure you guys will be coming back and watching more.
Hell yeah. June 14th, Battle of the Borders.
Let's
That'll
go.
be watching. I know I'll be watching. Ian, thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully
you.
we see you again real soon.
Yes,
live,
sir.
Actually, the next time.
All right.
So
June 14th.
Right. June 14th, Battle of the Borders. Everybody else, stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll be joined by Dan Chapman. Later, man.
Later, Ian.
Later, guys.
Okay, I'm bored. Who am I going to fight? Chapman sucks. There's no other contenders. Gaffey, nobody fucking knows who he is. Gary Fox looks like he shouldn't be allowed within 500 feet of an elementary school. Where do we go? Where do we go? The featherweight division. I just don't know. I don't know, because I've cleaned it out. What's next, y'all? What's next?
But yeah, getting to the point, talking about my next fight, I see Kai Stewart talking absolute shit online. He's probably the worst champion I've ever seen in my life. You know, even when I first signed with BKFC, he was in my DMs, in my comments. He was already shitting his pants before I even got myself my first fight with BKFC. And obviously after that fight, he's avoided me ever since. Yes, he's the champion, I respect that. But he's 22. I've been boxing for 22 years at the highest level. This guy, I watched him in Dubai, he was absolutely atrocious. If you paid for that, you must have been really sad about that. He was bouncing around the ring like a kangaroo. He's probably the worst champion I've ever seen. He needs to stick to wrestling. I don't think he can be good at that. You know, he's young, he's got courage, he's doing bare knuckle, I respect that. But he is an absolute garbage champion. You know, I think it's great for business. Gabriel will be happy to pay his wage to fight in Verona on the Italy BKFC in September. So, you know, David be happy when I kick his ass and stop him in the first round so he doesn't have to keep paying a shit champion stupid money. When I'm faster than him, I'm better looking than him, you know, I'm stronger than him. I've been boxing longer than he's been alive. Kai Stewart, I would stop you in one round. You are absolutely, I wouldn't even put you in with any of my amateurs. You're absolutely terrible. So mate, I see you soon, real soon. Speak to Gabriel and we make this fight happen.
There it is. There he is. Guys.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah.
Dan, hold on. Before we start, I gotta apologize for my mistake. I thought for sure I had the time zones correct. And then I'm at my kids' little league practice. I'm actually hitting ground balls to kids in the infield and my phone starts going off. I felt like a shitty coach. I'm like looking at my phone and like throwing balls up and hitting it with the bat. And I'm like texting with you back. My bad, dude. My bad.
That's called fantastic multitasking.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Last time we talked to you, you had to pull out of the fight in Dubai because of an eye injury. First of all, how is the eye and how are you doing right now?
Yeah, look, these things, you know, as an unforeseen occurrence, these are things that are not meant, 100% not meant to happen. But, you know, when you're in a fight game and you're sparring top pros and, you know, these injuries occur, you know, and I was devastated because, you know, when I knew I could really do a devastating performance against Brandon Allen, and I knew he was there for the taking, and then not being able to do that due to an injury, it really that was a big kick in the face for me. And but one thing, karma works in its way, and it's great to see Nico jump in, and you know, he absolutely destroyed Brandon Allen, and you know, Nico deserves all the luck, the best and the luck in the world, because he's a proper fighter. He stepped in and took the fight against Brandon Allen, who was, you know, was 5-6 kilos heavier than him. Really, you know, Nico is you know, a 63 kilo fighter, not a 66 kilo fighter. So fair play to Nico, respect for that. He went in and done the job, and he put a statement out there that he could fight in 2 weight divisions. You know, and he's a good friend of mine. We fought on a Marbella event together. Yep. So you know, amen to that. But yes, I'm back training after 3 months layoff. Finally, nice. I feel good.
We're seeing the training on your Instagram. We know that you're back in there. Let's get right to the point here. What do you think about Kai Stewart saying that you suck? A 6-0 bare knuckle fighter, former champion, been boxing for 20 plus years. When you hear the featherweight champion say that you suck, what thoughts are going through your head?
It's irrelevant what he says, to be honest with you. Is that when I do get the fight, I'm going to break his face. So, you know, I've been fighting longer than he's been alive. So I've been fighting for 22 years, and you've got some child who bounces around the ring like a fucking kangaroo. Look, the real fans know. Regardless of all that, they are buying the tickets. They are seeing the great fights like Rico and Sweeney fighting each other. Put on warrior displays and showing the levels of the game. And we've got Kai Stewart jumping on the ring like a fucking kangaroo, playing with his mustache. I'm gonna hit his mustache through his skull. And I really mean that. For me, it's like, I've had a bit of a laugh, a bit of banter with him online, and like when I first done the show with you in Marbella, when I done the interview with you, he was sliding in my DMs, and I hadn't even had a fight with BKFC yet. So
was he in your DMs asking for a fight, or what was he doing?
They're just chatting shit. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was the champion. So. And he's trying to say, he doesn't know who Nico is. Dan Chapman is this and that, whatever. But people know. You can't cheat boxing. You can't lie. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 22 years at a real high standard. And I'm deadly serious. It's not a joke anymore. I really want to break his face. I don't like the kid.
So you're not impressed with him at all? Nothing that he's done?
I really don't like him. And I for me is, I don't really do a lot of shit talk, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just jump in and do the talk with my hands, and he's not giving me that opportunity because he doesn't want to fight me. He's running so bad.
Is that what?
Look, I be honest with you, boys. Look. What happened with the injury? I can't control that.
Yeah.
I've been out for 3 months now, and I'm back into my training. I fight tomorrow, boys. I don't have camps. I don't have. If you wanted to fight me on the Texas show or the Hollywood show, sorry, I fight him on the Hollywood. It doesn't matter. I fight him in his backyard. It does not matter. But it's gone past joking now. Like I really wanna hurt him so bad.
So you mentioned Gabriel on your Instagram post, and Gabriel, I know that he's putting together a couple more, if not one more Italy show this year.
Yeah.
Not a couple, and we're here in sometime in the September to October time frame. Is that really a fight that you think you guys could get made? Because I think you, Gary Fox, and because Nico Gatti went in there and your fight with Brandon Allen was supposed to be a title eliminator, he did beat Brandon Allen. So now there's like 3 guys there. Gatti only has 2 fights in bare knuckle. You are 6-0 in bare knuckle, and then Gary Fox is holding a title in Europe. Who gets this fight?
No, look, this is the thing. Look, no, David is the boss at the end of the day. Any decision that David makes alongside my manager Gabriel, then I have to respect that, regardless on how good I think I am or whatever. But the fans want to see Dan Chapman and Kai Stewart, or the fans want to see Gary Fox and Dan Chapman. It doesn't matter. These are 2 great fights for myself. But it's not going to look good for them because I understand Gary's at the end of his career right now. He wants a big international fight. And Kai is on stupid money, so David doesn't want to pay that all the time. It's business, it's boxing, it's fight, it's bare-knuckle boxing. So, he's saying that he's cleared out the division, yet, Frank Tenaglia is not going to fight him. He's got a big fight with Soto. He'd be waiting for a long time before he goes up a weight. It's not going to happen. So, he needs to. He's going to have another 1 or 2 fights in this division, and he's got plenty of people to choose from. And I hate the fact that he thinks he can choose. And I just think maybe David and Gabriel can step in and say, no, this is who you're fighting. So less talk and just put the fight on in Verona in September, or it's going to be in his backyard in front of his fans. It doesn't matter.
Well, who else do you think should be in that spot if it's not you next? Who do you think he would fight?
I'm really too respectful, but for me, is it's just me. I want that spot. It doesn't matter. Like I'm happy to fight Gary, then Kai, or whatever. For me,
or Nico.
Look, I like Nico. He's a friend, but I don't give a fuck what Nico does. I don't care what Gary Fox does. For me, this is my journey, and these are the fights that I want. Because if they put guys in front of me and I keep putting away, then I don't get no accreditation for that. I don't get no respect for that. So beating Gary Fox is great because he's been in the stable a long time. Beating Kai Stewart, I don't think I'm going to get respect for beating him because everybody knows he's horrendous. But so for me, I just want the belt. It's that simple. When I get the belt, and then we can get some real good fights happening. Maybe I'll get someone who can really test me and put me through my gears. But for me is just I just need to put that devastating performance on and hit Kai around the ring like he's never been hit around the ring before. So look, if I ever lose to a wrestler, boys, I may as well give up boxing right now.
I can tell you this, Dan. As a BKFC fan, I think I speak for all the fans when I say that I don't want to see Kai Stewart go up to 155. I don't think it's time yet. He says he cleaned out the division, but really there's Gary Fox, there's Nico Gaffey now, but there's also James Brown, who hasn't lost at 145 pounds. His only losses are at 155. There is a handful of really high level fighters at 145 pounds that I would love to see him fight before he goes up to 155. And I know that he's a 22-year-old kid, like you said, and that is right where, we were all 22 at one point in our life, right? That's when we started putting on.
I do have to play devil's advocate here, or really just tell the fact he's going to be 25. I know it's not a big difference, but he is a little bit. He's a little bit older than.
But anyways, early to mid 20s is when you start putting on your man size, right? You start putting on you start putting a little bit more muscle on. So I don't know how much longer he has at 145 pounds, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's still putting on muscle. Because when I was when I deployed my first time, I was 22 years old. I put on 40 pounds in a year, but I was in the gym lifting like a maniac. And I know he's not doing the same, but it was very easy for me at that age to put on size and muscle, and I never lost it. So maybe the higher weight classes are coming soon as he gets older. But right now, I don't think he's done with the 145-pound division.
Okay, let me just give you an example. Let me fight him at 155 pounds. Do you know what I mean? So it makes no difference to me at all, So it doesn't matter if he's putting weight on. We're all in the same position. I fluctuate with my weight a lot because sometimes I want to be, strong in the gym. Sometimes I feel a little bit heavy, so then I feel like I need to be a bit lighter on my toes. Look, everybody's weights fluctuate. It's how you manage your life in your personal life after, the fights. And for me, he seems that he does that, so I can't see it being a problem at 145.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, I think it would be very nice if you guys did toe the line in Italy on an Italy card coming up. It would be fantastic. But man, we gotta get Kai Stewart, because you see in the clip before, you know how he is. He's like, if he doesn't think that you're worthy of the fight, he's not going to give you the time of the day. And I think that you already know that. Like, that's kind of how he is. Like, hey, listen, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. So, which it does get a little frustrating. It gets frustrating to a point, because we always want to see all these fights. I wanted to see him fight Brandon Allen. And when Brandon Allen was going to fight you on the same card,
it's such a good.
I was so mad, because it's like, I get that Gaffey did win that fight, but that is the exact reason why, MMA math and boxing math, it doesn't always work. So it could have been a much better fight with Brandon and Kai. But at this point, we're never going to see it. And he kept saying, he's not at my level. I'm not going to fight him. And that drove me nuts, because I'm like, you got to fight the guy. But it never happened. And now it's probably never going to happen. So
I'm really sad. I think where he's going with it, he knows he can't go to 155 at the minute, because that division is busy, locked in fights. And this is the problem. He knows he has to fight at 145. He doesn't mention my name, Nico's name, the other guy's name, Gary Fox's name, for no reason. But, at the end of the day, David will make a solid decision. It doesn't matter what Kai wants or what I want. David will set him on the right path. And, I am a little bit frustrated, because I want that fight. But Dave is the boss, and... no one Kai has not mentioned that once, but, or maybe David will make my decisions for me. He's like, no, Dan, it sucks. Gary Fox is a child molester. Nico, we don't even know who he is. And it's pathetic talk, because if I was the champion, I'd be like, Dave, this is the guy I want. And Dave will go, okay, because when you're the champion, you can do that. But he's not doing that. He's downplaying all the best contenders. So that means he's running scared. It's as simple as that. You listen. When you're a champion and you want money in your pocket and you want to fight and you want to put bread on your table, like, the best have got to fight the best. It's that simple. They produce the best fights, and we've proven that when we had the Rico and Sweeney fight in Italy. That was one of the best fights I witnessed there. You know, it was an incredible war. People will talk about that fight for a long, long, long time. And you could even see the main guys, like you see Lubo, Davids, Gabriel's face. Everyone's just like this. Oh my God, this fight is incredible. And this is what the sport is for.
Awesome.
We really want to bring the best boxers and the best fighters together. Because bare knuckle, it will humble you. It doesn't matter how much of a good boxer you are. It doesn't matter how much of a good fighter you are. It's who's going to fall for the game plan on the night. And you might not even have a game plan. You might have a game plan. Bare knuckle is such a raw sport. And this is what makes it exciting. And I hate the fact that Kai is taking that away at the minute. He's making it like pro boxing. Oh, you know, avoid this person, avoid that person. It's embarrassing. Now, like, I was having a laugh and a joke in the beginning, but I really don't like the kid. I really want to smash his face, and I just think he needs to be taught a lesson, and I'm buzzing to give him a lesson. I teach Gary a lesson on the same night. I teach Kai Stewart a fighting lesson on the same night. I will box both their brains off on the same night, and they both know that. Gary doesn't want to fight me. His team has already said that. And Kai is just acting like a clown. So, you know, I hate this bullshit. Just fucking take the fight and let us fight, you know?
So if the road to Kai is through Gary Fox, you'll take that fight.
I take two of them on the same night, boys. I'm not joking.
Right.
I haven't got time to fuck around. I'm really and everybody knows that as well. You know, Gary Fox is made for me. You know, I don't think he really wants that fight, but I'd be really happy if he took that fight. So he's acting like a road man all the time, saying, you know, I was really polite at first, saying, you know, I think it'd be a great fight if me and Gary fight, and we fight. The winner fights Kai. You know, makes sense. It sounds really good. You know. And then he started acting like a roadman, Gary, and I was just like, you know, don't act like a roadman with me. I'll smack you off the street, on the street. He's trying to say, like, oh, come, I'm going to the BKFC event in Birmingham. I'm going to be there. And he's acting like a roadman, and I'm really professional in my sport. If he acts like that, I'll smack him outside as well. So, you know, he doesn't understand, you know, oh, because I come from the street. Everybody's come from the fucking street. All of us are going to pass, but it's how you handle yourself in the ring and outside of the ring is the most important. And if he wants to act like a roadman, I'll treat him like a roadman. It's as simple as that. If you treat me with respect, I'll give you the most respect in the world. It's as simple as that. I didn't need to do like the trash talking like all these idiots. I always do the talking with my hands. And anyone who watches me fight, if any of you watched my last 6 fights, I am not disappointed. I fight guys who are 75 kilo, 80 kilo. I fought guys my size, I put them away. I've always put on a different performance, an exciting performance, and people are just saying, like, Dan, this can't be that good. You know, you need to get better opposition. You need to do this, and I haven't had it. So, you know, I'm going to do the same to Kai Stewart that I did to Mike Bishop, whatever his name is, in Marbella, and then people are going to realize how good I am, you know.
Dan, you know what? You've used a word a few times, and I was like, what is he saying here? And you're saying roadman?
Oh, he's just acting like a guy off the street who sells drugs. He's just
yeah, I had to just look it up. When you were saying it, I was like, I got to Google this word. It's definitely not an American word because you said roadman.
Yeah,
I was like, what does that mean, roadman? And it says, yeah, slang by guys spend a lot of time on the streets. Yeah.
But once you're a roadman, you're always a roadman, and you don't elevate in anything. You don't get sponsorship. No one wants to work with you. You know, and Gary has turned his life around, and I respect that. And he's got himself, you know, he just won a British title, you know, and I'm not going to speak how he won the British title. John Chipchase is a great fighter. John has said, you know, I'm not going to take that win away from Gary because of a cut. But if I had lost to a cut, I'd be wanting a fucking rematch. You know, it's as simple as that. And especially our way, he's I think he was 5-6-0 on 4 and lost 1, and he knocked all the last 3 or 4 out. So to be fair to John Chipchase, he's a good guy and he doesn't talk really bad about anybody. And he hasn't really asked for the rematch, but he done a story on Instagram, I think yesterday or the day before. He said, I would like a rematch, and I was like, fair play. He wasn't bad about it. Again, he's a real fighter. He just does the talking with his hands, you know. And I respect John. You know, he's a good fighter. That could be possibly maybe a fight in the future. Who knows? But where I am right now, I don't really want to be fighting really anybody that I feel like I'm gonna really take to school. I just want belts. I want the titles. You know, I don't want to play around. I don't want to, when you're the champion, we can create some fantastic fights. And anyone, and then the BKFC will say, Dan needs to fight this person. I go, no problem, let's go. You know, I'm not going to be doing lives and saying, somebody else's shit, this person's shit. I might move up to 155. It's bollocks, absolute bollocks.
I will say this too, for the people that think that you need to fight your way to a title shot, they didn't do that to Austin Trout. They didn't do, like, if you were a world champion in an outside organization, especially one like yourself, that the BKB was very respected. It was like the creme de la creme at the time. You're 6-0 and you were a world title holder. So, you should only be one or two fights away from a title shot in my eyes.
Boys,
and I know
you're right. Yeah, you're right, because I only know how to be a champion. So it's frustrating for me not to be a champion in this organization. That's the kicking in teeth right now. I've beat James Kennelly. I beat Sean George. Sean George was a multiple world champion. He was a goat in the bare knuckle world, fighting a guy that was 25 kilos heavier than me. I've had those big fights, and for me not to have those big fights now, it is humbling. It's made me reset a little bit. But it's really frustrating. Beating James Kennelly, was a fantastic. He was a world champion, British champion. Again, I had over 80, 90 amateurs. Again, 6'1", 73 kilo. I fought him when I was soaking wet, 66 kilo. I proven myself in the bare knuckle world against good opposition. So, if these guys can't turn me over with massive weight advantage, fighting someone in a foam box. The BKB ring was a fucking foam box. I could nearly touch gloves in the opposite corner. If these can't beat me, these guys not gonna fucking beat me. And for me, that's frustrating, that not being a champion in a sport, because I only know how to be a champion. I love being a champion.
I really hope that, obviously you want to see you fight Kai, but if that is not your next fight, I really do hope that they put you against somebody worthy of fighting you. You know what I mean? No offense to your last fight, but I think that people who are only familiar with BKFC, which is a lot of people that just watch BKFC, they haven't seen other fights. They probably didn't even see any of your other
you're
fights.
right.
They might
You're
not even
totally
know
right.
you were a champ. So they don't know. We need to see you showcase your skill.
But this is
and that's
why
where
I was
it's
super happy, and I was devastated. Like, when they give me Brandon Allen, he was the #1 contender. I was like, I was so fucking happy, because I was going to make a statement that night. And again, I can do all the talking I want, but again, the injury come. I couldn't do anything about it. I was devastated. Honestly, I was watching at home. I was so sad, but so happy for Nico at the same time. And that was the fight. I definitely would have been fighting Kai Stewart in my next fight if I didn't have the injury. So, but I can't cry about it. I can't complain about it. This is combat sports. And it just shows how heavy I take my training. Like most of these boys, they don't know how to. I'm sparring top pros all the time, and that's how the injury happened. I don't take camps lightly. I'm not jumping in and doing body spars with my gym mates, or I'm sparring only fucking the best, because otherwise I get bored. I get bored. If I don't get good sparring, I get bored. So I'm having way harder sparring partners than the champions in the sport. So for me, it's like, I just need to be a champion. It's frustrating, but I just can't wait to be a champion.
What are you doing right now? I know that you're not in Spain. Yeah. What are you doing there? Where are you, and what are you up to?
I got some amazing news. I haven't really announced yet, but it'd be great to tell you guys firstly on the pod. It's the first podcast talking about it. I'm currently in Bali in Indonesia right now. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful country. It's a crazy country. And we are opening the first ever boxing gym in Bali.
Wow. So, cool.
It's in Canggu. It's got a lot of MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing gyms here. But we are opening on the 1st of August, the first ever boxing gym. So that is a proud moment. Behind the scenes, my life isn't just about fighting and being a champion. Is that I got to set my life up after being a champion, after boxing, after bare knuckle, So, and I love working with fighters. I manage over 10 fighters now in BKFC and one or two other organizations. So we got like Anthony Holmes, we manage Rico Franco, we manage John Phillips. So, these are champions. Rico just won the European title in Italy. We were super happy that we got him that fight. So, that was a fight that not many people on his side wanted. But I said, Rico, look, what would you rather? Would you rather fight on undercard and get paid less money after fighting Austin Trout, one of the pound for pounds right now, or do you want to fight for the title and be co-main event in Italy, and a chance for you to redeem that, maybe fight for another world title after that, you know. And he was like, "Oh, you're right, Dan. You know, this is something that we, you know, I fought him, you know, twice now. Do I really want to fight them again?" I goes, "Yeah, you should fight them again, because nobody have seen the duo in this company. The only BKB in the UK seen that." I said, "Give the fans what they want, make that fight happen," and that's what we did. We made that fight happen, and it's one of the greatest fights that we've seen in Benacl now. So I think, you know, Rico's in a good place now. He's the European champion, and I would imagine he wants to go on and fight for world honors again. And this is what we want being in Bali, is that we're going to be bringing fighters all over the world over here, doing, you know, training camps for them, and letting them switch off, you know, intense, heavy training. And then, like I said, you know, they're going to enjoy their stuff in the pool. There's my coach, Simon Coach. And then the pool here.
What's up?
And enjoy.
It looks
you
terrible
know,
over there.
You know, it's horrendous. I can't believe, you know, I'm here. I should be there with you guys, or in Wales when it rains every day.
Yeah, right. Hey, on the management side of things, let me ask you this: as Rico's manager, if the BKFC said, "Hey, I know they've already fought 3 times, but that Jimmy and Rico fight was so damn close and it was such a classic. We want to run it back one more time in the BKFC." So they've fought twice already in BKB. What if the BKFC approached you guys and said, "Rico, Jimmy, 4"? Is that something that you'd want to do?
Look, for me, if I'm not stupid, man, I think it's a great question. Right? Thank you for that question, and I think you're gonna have a good answer with this. Look, you know, I'm gonna give you 2 sides of the story. You know, where after that fight, I was sat there with the both boys in the hospital beds. Right, I don't think people understand what those boys put their body through that night. It boys, was upsetting. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, I was there, and they both of them looked like they were gonna die. Yeah, I was blood come out to Jimmy's eye. He was there. He was vomiting. He didn't know even where he was. Rico the same, and you know, no one gets to see that behind the scenes. You know, and you know, me as a fighter, like, I've been in this game for 20 fucking years, and I was sitting there, I was thinking, fuck, like these boys, like did they just do that? And then this after, I'm thinking, fuck. You know, like, this is why I'm annoyed with people like Kai Stewart, because these people don't understand what it's like to be a real warrior. When I'm sat there in the fucking hospital beds with these boys who just punch each other's faces off for championship rounds and an extra round. Remember that?
Yep.
And I'm sitting there.
Unbelievable fight.
And they sitting there. They don't even know where they are. They can't see their face. They can't see their hands. There's blood coming everywhere. Sick being everywhere. And I'm thinking, wow, like, you know, fuck, these are real life gladiators. And you know, and then on the plus side of that, you know, then you've got to understand, you know, if we're gonna make that fight again, I heard that Austin Trout is going down a weight. So if that fight happens again, it's got to be for a world title. You know, it makes sense because, you know, for me, look, if we're gonna make that fight again, you know, these boys have fought each other 3 times, boys. They're sick of each other. You know,
I can imagine.
You know, it's got to be for that fight to happen. It's got to be worth something. It can't be just, you know, defending the European title or whatever. You know, and it was such a close fight. Look, you know, it could have gone either way. And I feel like Rico won the last round, so I think he deserved the fight on that last round. It was all on that round, that extra round. So fair play for the guys making that round an extra round. You know, and you got to understand, Gabriel is my manager, so he manages Sweetie. You know.
Yeah.
So. But look, Gabriel is an incredible guy.
That's a weird entanglement you got there. You are managed by him. He manages Jimmy. You manage Rico. That's strange, man.
We all warriors. We don't have to be against each other and hate each other. We support each other, because these boys, when they put performances on like that, you got to understand, Rico and Franco are sitting with their children and their wives next to each, eating food together. And then in that week, they're going to punch each other like that in the face for fucking 7 rounds, bro. Or 6 rounds, right? And for me, that is real warrior mentality, not bad talking, not talking shit. They were sitting there while Jimmy was holding his baby, Rico was there with his girlfriend, and they were eating food together. But they know when that bell goes, they are different humans. The switch flicks. And I respected that, and people were like, how the fuck are they sitting and having food together? And
they were driving in freaking vans together and shit. To and from the weigh-ins and the fights. Like, they're just hanging out.
it does make sense because these guys are real warriors. They don't need to be like that in their personal life. They know when that bell goes, they become different human. They become superheroes, and they prove that you can be amicable, and you don't have to blow up a fight because when you put a performance on like that from them too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
boy,
Well,
it was incredible.
speaking
So, for
like
me,
again, speaking for the BKFC fans, if they were to figure out how to make that one worth doing, whether the world title be on the line or the biggest paychecks they've seen, whatever, I would love
yeah,
to see it one more time.
but I think the world would deserve to see that fight again, and this is what it all goes down to what Austin Trout is going to do, doesn't it?
Right.
So I know he's got an injury right now. I think he's broken his hand, isn't he, or something?
Well, you know what? When he announced that he's moving down, was that him officially vacating the
He
165
didn't
pound?
say he was
He
vacating.
did not
the
say
belt.
that, right? So I don't know.
No. But I mean, like you said, everything will be.
I wonder what they're gonna do.
Everything will be Chinese whispers at the minute, until he comes out with a statement. Then I
Right.
ain't going to comment on that. But if he does, drop down a weight, or if we can make that fight happen again, a fourth fight with Rico and Franco, it has to either pay fucking really good, or it's got to be for some for a world title.
World title.
It deserves that. One of them, after a fight like that, if there's nobody going to be the world champion, one of them deserves to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the incentive, isn't it? As fighters, we like to have incentives. It's either money or the belt. Or both.
That's it.
I love it, man. Hey, Dan, I hope that you get a fight soon, whether it be Kai Stewart for the title or Gary Fox for his belt or whatever they have to do to get you there. I believe that you are the guy and you're worthy of a title shot no matter what you've done in the BKFC, no matter what the fans are saying in the comment section. Kai's got a lot of followers and a lot of support over here, and they love him and they think that you gotta do a little more before you see him. But if they can make that fight, trust me, BKFC fans, you're gonna love it. If it's Gary Fox, it's Gary Fox. Hopefully we hear some news from you soon. If it's in Italy or in the States, I can't wait to see it happen. And I hope that Mike and I are there live to see it happen.
Boys, I'd love you to be there because, I love the before the fights, the after the fights. It's the team, you guys, the people who have love for the sport. For me, with my manager, Gabriel, with my team, it's all about, creating history. And for me, is like I said, we all have our own DNA, right? And we just got to put a fingerprint on this earth, and we have to do the best as we can to especially when we are dedicated and talented, and we take things serious. I take things serious in this sport. I've got a lot of pressure on with the sponsorships that I have and the eyes on me, the children that look up to me. My account is open. I love to show all my training. I show all my training on my Instagram. So, my job is I love that pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. And I can't wait to have the opportunity to really, I believe I still haven't shown people what I can do yet. And I hope I get that opportunity to show you guys what I can do. So then I'm saying thank you for boxing for all the 22 years it's given me. Let me show you what I can do.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Hopefully it's sooner than later for you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on, and just give a good geography lesson to everybody right now. It is 10 p.m. Eastern time, right where I'm at. What time is it in Bali?
It's 10 a.m. Bali time.
There you go, guys.
Yes.
10 a.m. Remember that. It might
You
help you in the
motherfuckers, you had
future.
me up at 6 o'clock.
Maybe one day it'll help you.
Motherfuckers,
I'm so sorry, dude. I don't
you
know.
owe me a beer after the fight.
We get you. We'll take.
I'll buy you two,
Kyle
3.
will take care of you.
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Or a
Thank you so
packet of
much for
sweets. I love sweets.
There we go.
Okay.
We got you.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Anytime, Dan. Hey, Mike, you got anything else for Dan Chapman?
Hey, listen. I want you and Kai in Italy, and we're gonna fly over there with our families, and we're gonna have a blast for an entire week over there. Let's do it. Come on, Gabriel, Dave Feldman, make it happen.
Let's go.
I just cannot wait.
Gabriel's agreed to make it happen. So it's honestly, he's saying that I'm talking lies. Gabriel's my manager, and when he says something, Gabriel is always true to his word.
Oh yes, he is. He is. And yeah, I love that guy. He's a
And
good
hey,
guy.
in Italy,
And
Mike Tyson, John Can Van Damme is going to be there. That's going to be an event.
yeah, oh my God.
Swear down.
All right. Okay. All right. Don't
Listen
get me
to
any
this,
more
boys.
excited for this because I'm
Listen to
about
this,
to
boys,
just
right?
get on a plane
The
now.
villa that I'm staying in right now, John Claude Van Damme has stayed in this villa even.
Nice. That's cool. Well,
Oh
Right,
that's
man,
boys,
awesome.
I love
legend,
it, review.
legend.
I know
We
you
have-
guys
we
have got to
do
go.
have
I
an-
know you have a busy schedule.
Yeah, we have
Sorry,
another
Chuck?
guy waiting in the green room right now. So we've had him waiting for a bit. So not that we could talk to you all night. We could just go on and on and on.
I
You
know,
know,
I
this is just
appreciate
the
it,
way
man.
it goes. This is the way we are all the time. So, but
course.
thank you so much for coming on. You know, welcome back anytime. Everybody else, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be joined by Nash Diederichs.
Later,
Later.
Dan.
Cheers, boys.
Mundell, that belt is mine. Let's go. Come on. I gotta say it again. Let's go.
Hey, there he is, Nash Diedrich. Thank you for waiting and hanging
No
in
problem.
there.
What's up, boys?
Hey, appreciate you
up?
hanging in. Hey, you know that you're going to be fighting in our backyard on June 14th, my
That's your
friend.
backyard, Mohegan Sun?
Yes.
Yeah. I live
much.
30 minutes. I live 25 minutes, 25, 30 minutes from Mohegan Sun.
Yeah,
Mike's
I live
about
an hour away
45
from it.
minutes, an hour. So,
Be nice to meet you guys in person.
hell yeah,
We
man.
will be there.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. I'm
For having me.
sure
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Excited to see you back in there. Last time we saw you in the BKFC arena, I believe you were fighting the Beast, Ruben Arroyo,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
And
sir.
that was
Denver.
in Denver, which was his stomping grounds. So you got to go into somebody else's hometown and spoil the party. How was that?
That was awesome, and I'm gonna do it again this time.
There it is. So Mohegan Sun, June 14th. You ever been? Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Canada, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Denver was the first time I've left Canada. So that was my first time to the States, first time ever leaving Canada. It's a big trip for me. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Hold up a second, Mike. Nash, Mike, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you right next door to Joe Ivy? Is Joe? Where are you from? Tell me where you're from, because I believe
No, she's not. She's not from Saskatoon, but
Where's she from? She's from somewhere up there, right?
yeah, we
Somewhere
always
in
get the
Canada?
word. We always say it wrong. So, you know, she's from the east coast of.
Okay.
Oh, she's
Canada.
from Newfoundland.
Yes.
Newfoundland.
Oh, yeah.
Newfoundland. How do you say it?
Newfoundland, I think. I've never been there myself.
I'm always wrong when I say it,
Yeah,
so I have no idea.
Yeah, not the guy to ask, I guess.
I thought you were. You're the Canadian. Obviously, you're the expert. We
You're
have
right. You're
labeled
right.
you the expert now.
No, I haven't.
Newfoundland, she said. Newfoundland. That's kind of how you say it. Newfoundland. See,
Yeah,
I always say it wrong.
even in Canada, I haven't traveled too much. Like, I just haven't got too much. Like, mostly stayed in Saskatchewan my whole life here. Been to Alberta a few times, but I've never got to travel the East Coast or even far west, like BC. Never made it out there yet, but it's on the bucket list for sure.
Well, being a Canadian bare knuckle fighter, what do you think about the BKFC Ice Wars? Is that something that you are interested in checking out, or maybe even stepping on the ice and throwing those hands?
Surprising enough, I'm not a big hockey guy. My manager Kevin Smith gives me shit all the time for it. I don't follow it. I didn't grow up playing hockey, so honestly, like I can't skate and very well at all, and that's not something I'll be doing. I'm here to stay in BKFC.
I just
You know
got a
who else
text
couldn't?
from Kevin
Yeah,
said you've been released. Sorry.
Hey,
That's too many. That's too many negatives. You can't not be an ice hockey fan. Yeah, he always wants to watch. Every time we go to an event, we hang out with Kevin.
He
And
loves
we've got to
hockey.
go somewhere where hockey's going to be on that television screen.
Oh
so
man,
watch
trust
it.
me,
And
trust me. He's gave me shit for it, so
I can just imagine.
So growing up in Saskatoon, not playing
Yep.
hockey, what is the sport? What was your sport growing up? Was it boxing,
Oh,
martial arts? What was it?
I got into martial arts pretty young. Yeah, so 10 years old, I started jujitsu, and then I did that until high school, and then wrestling took over the wrestling team. I made it to provincials in wrestling, and then right after high school, I did some kickboxing, some Muay Thai, and then the last like solid 4 years has just been straight boxing. And growing up, I played everything but hockey. To be honest with you, I played basketball, volleyball. I was on the volleyball team, the basketball team, the football team. I did a little track. Pretty much everything except hockey. Surprising enough.
Well, now you're in the best sport in the world, right?
Exactly.
You're in
Yeah.
the best sport in the world.
Yes,
We've
sir.
been riding with the BKFC for so long, and I'm glad you mentioned Kevin Smith. Kevin
My man.
is one of the first people. Matter of fact, he is probably the first person I ever talked to that was involved in the BKFC. Well, no. The reason here's what it is. I started the podcast. I did a couple episodes, and then I got Joey Beltran to come on. And at the time, Joey Beltran, I knew Joey Beltran as UFC and Bellator Joey Beltran, but
Okay.
he happened to be the BKFC heavyweight champion at the time. So I'm like, oh wow! And I knew about BKFC at the time because of the Artem Lobov Jason Knight fight. That's
Yeah.
what that's what drew all the MMA fans over. And
Totally.
I'm like, oh man, I get Joey Beltran on and I'm talking to him. And then all of a sudden I get a message. I don't know if it was a Facebook message or a DM from Kevin. And he said,
Evan.
hey, I manage BKFC fighters. I would like to start getting some guys on your show. It was a brand new podcast at the time. So me and Mike developed a friendship with Kevin 5 years ago, and it's still
Okay.
going strong today. So shout out
He's
to
awesome. He's awesome, man. He's the man. He's my manager. So shout out Kevin. I hope you're watching right now. And yeah, man.
I say it all the time. His work ethic is like
He's
unmatched.
definitely watching.
Oh man, behind the scenes, nobody works harder than Kevin. Like it's crazy to see. Like he's always working. He's always working. He's always doing something. Or he's setting up interviews. He's managing fighters. He's behind the scenes. He's doing everything, right?
Absolutely. He could sure dance too, huh, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can cut a rug.
What
gotta see
can't
the
he do?
moves
What
on
can't he do?
What can't he
You got to
do?
see the moves on this guy. You got to see the legs on this guy. Truly amazing what he can do.
Oh yeah, he's
Hey.
the man.
So stepping into the BKFC arena once again, you got to feel pretty good after coming off the win against Ruben. Now
For
we
sure.
knew Ruben before, and Ruben had some hype to him. He hangs
did.
around, he trains with a lot of big name guys.
Yeah.
But we honestly, Mike and I knew him. We hung out with him a bunch of times, but we had never seen him fight before. So we
Yeah.
were only taking the word of the people around him. And you went out there, and no offense, Nash, we were like excited to see Ruben Arroyo's
Yep.
debut. We've been hearing so much about him. We talked to the people he trains with. Dude, my man ruined the fucking night for the beast.
Yeah, it was a quick performance. It was a quick performance, clean, didn't get hits. I had no injuries. Ruben's a good fighter, man, but I'm just on another level.
And your first fight against Suckalukchuk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Saskatoon, Suckalukchuk. These are very, very
It's close.
Suckalukchuk.
These are exciting words.
Yes, sir.
The words are pretty hard tonight. Talk about the first fight.
Sure.
You coming from jiu-jitsu and martial arts and whatnot. This is a whole new ball game for a guy like yourself, right? You get in there, you got the circle ring, you got the scratch line 3 feet apart from each other. You don't have time to really think once they say knuckle up. It's go time.
Yeah.
Talk about your first fight against Suckalukchuk and how you use what you learned from that one to go in there and play spoiler for Ruben.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but my first fight, I took that on 10 days notice. So I had the no fight camp. It was also at 165 pounds. I've never fought that in my life. My last amateur fight before that was at 140 in boxing. And so it was a big weight jump, 10 days notice. And it's a lot different than amateur boxing, obviously, right? Like you said, bare knuckle, you told the line right in front of each other. The ring was a lot smaller than I was expecting. And everything I got to take so much out of that fight into going into to fighting Ruben, which was huge. Just being at a lower weight class too, kind of being the bigger guy, and kind of knowing how it works behind the scenes, like little things like when they wrap your hands, when you get to walk out, what like how they're going to let you walk out, when, and then what they're going to say to you. Like every little thing like that matters, and when you have just even one fight of experience, it makes the world of difference.
It's fast paced too, like not just the fight itself, like you just said, the backstage stuff, the warm ups. Like once
Yep.
one fight's over, you're
Yep.
already in the warm up tent, getting ready to make the walk. It's like there's less than 5 minutes in between fights at times. Like they
Especially in bare knuckle, like sometimes it's a 30-second fight, right? And then 3 fights fly by in 15 minutes, and all of a sudden you think you have time to warm up. You think you have maybe an hour before, 30 minutes before, but then 3 knockouts happen and you're up next.
Right. It's like we say, we always talk about how fast paced the in-ring action is, but the whole damn production is fast paced. Like they'll pump 12 fights out in 3 hours. It's freaking great.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Like just experiencing that little stuff in the back the first time, like having that experience and now having experienced it twice. Like I know Peter or Pete, who I'm fighting, he's got a lot more fights than me, but he hasn't fought for bare knuckle before. So I'm going into it thinking I have the experience advantage.
And Mike, you'll agree with me on this. Mohegan Sun, the first event they had there had like 3,500 to 4,000 people. Last time they had like 5,500 people.
Definitely more. Yep.
It is a perfect arena for combat sports, and the buzz in the area has gotten more and more for this. So I hope they sell the place out for you guys here.
Me too, man.
And wait till you see this casino, right, Mike?
I've been Googling it. I can't wait. It looks so sick. And like I was saying before, I've left Canada once to Denver. So this is going to be like a little vacation for me too. Business trip first, but afterwards I'll check out the mall, check out everything. Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's such a cool venue.
It's really nice. It's a really, really nice casino. And usually people think like, oh, it's a casino or I don't gamble or whatever. It's like, it's not just a casino, even though we call it, it's got like shops and restaurants and everything. And speaking of restaurants, the place called Tom's Watch Bar, which is a sports bar that is in the casino. And Kyle and I throw an after party there. It's right outside the arena. And we throw a BKFC after party every single time there's fights there. We actually do watch parties there too for the fights that aren't there. But yeah, it's awesome. A lot of people go there. A lot of the fighters go there afterwards. So it's a blast. We're going to be there. Lots of fans will be there. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, Mohegan Sun is a lot of fun. But so let's go back to your fight though. Yep. Peter Barrett. So I look into this guy, okay? He's got quite the nickname, Slippery Pete, huh? Slippery Pete.
Slippery Pete.
17-6. So he's got a little bit of experience in MMA.
Good record.
He's fought some good name fighters too. Actually, we were just talking about his last opponent. We were just talking about him because Charles Rosa, who he did actually lose to him in game-bred bare knuckle MMA, Charles Rosa just signed with Ice Wars. So look, we tied that. That's a little callback tie-in right there. But he has fought a couple of people like Chase Hooper and so on. So he's got some experience, but not so much in bare knuckle fights.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, he was in the UFC, and anybody who's made it to the UFC has got my respect. He went 0-2 in the UFC, but that's the biggest stage in the world for fighting, right now, at least. Absolutely. And so he's got my respect. He's definitely a good fighter, but like you said, bare knuckle boxing is different than anything else, and he doesn't have much boxing experience at all. It's all MMA fights. Even his last one was bare knuckle
MMA. Right?
Yes, sir. So I'm I'm confident. I know I'm sharper, I'm faster. My boxing skills are definitely a lot better. I know he's gonna try to clinch up and use his MMA against me, but I'm ready for it.
What weight class are you guys fighting at? Because you mentioned going up to 165 was a big jump for you, usually 140, 145. He's a 155 fighter in MMA. Where are you guys fighting?
This is at 155. So I fought Ruben at 155. I'm a lot bigger than I was in amateur boxing, so I have to cut a decent amount of weight to make 55 now. I'm filled out pretty good, and 55 is a good weight class for me, but I can still make 45 too. So sky's the limit from here.
Sky is the limit. You know what? You're in the fastest growing company in the world, and
Sure.
those two weight divisions that you're talking about, 155 and 145,
Yeah.
are probably the two most stacked divisions in the BKFC. 165 is catching up right now. 165 is bringing in a bunch of fighters too, but the 145 division, we just got done talking to Dan Chapman, one of the best 145ers in the world.
I watched it.
He wants Kai Stewart. Like, you got Kai, but you got Duran and James Brown. You got Nico Gaffey, Dan Chapman,
Howard Davis.
HD. Yeah, Howard HD. You got freaking Tommy Stridham and all these guys, man. There's a ton there.
So many big names. And
then 155, we're about to see a rematch of one of the greatest fights we've ever seen in our entire goddamn life.
Championship fight.
That Franco Tenaglia Tony Soto fight will go down as one of the greatest things I've ever actually witnessed live in my entire life. Mike and I were standing about 30
You were there live?
Yeah, we were in Marbella. Luckily, we were blessed to be in Marbella. And Mike and I were standing about, 35 feet from the ring. We were standing right with who was the team we were standing with, Mike?
It was Gary Fox and all those guys.
It was with Gary Fox. Yeah, we were standing with Gary Fox and his whole team. And that arena, Nash, it was like, I have said this before on the show. It was like Rocky IV when Rocky went to Russia and the Russian fans were like booing the shit out of Rocky and like yelling vulgar shit at him as he came to the ring. That's how it was, because Franco Tenaglia is from Spain. So they were anti Tony Soto to the max 100% prior as the fight was starting, booing him out the building. As that fight was going on, we could feel the energy in the room. Like he was winning over the crowd. And by the end of the fight, they were cheering both fighters on as loud as the other. And after the fight was over, like, we didn't get to see the 6th round, thank God, because they were pretty much killing each other in 5 rounds. Tony Soto came out and was mingling with the Marbella fans, and they were fucking loving him. They were like, getting autograph pictures. It was just like the coolest damn thing I've ever seen in my life, and I can't wait to see that again. But that is the division.
Performance like that, right? They're gonna love you.
Absolutely, and we get to see it again June 21st in Texas. Unbelievable. But like I said, that is in the division that you're in. You got those two. They got those two animals, but you got guys like Bryce Henry and Luis Palomino, and then you got like Andrew Angel Core. Like, if you get a win here, maybe an Angel Core is a fight down the road for you, someone like that. What do you think about the division that you're fighting in, and who would you like to see if you get a couple wins under your belt and you could start, trying to get Kevin Smith to pluck someone for you?
Sir. Yeah, so 55 is definitely probably the most stacked division right now, like you were saying. And so the guy I'm fighting, though, ex-UFC fighter, I feel like if I beat this guy, I deserve a big fight, right? And I'll fight any of those names you just said, like Duran, Howard Davis. Like, obviously, I probably need a couple more to get a big name like that, but maybe like a core,
Bobby
like you
Taylor?
were saying. Bobby Taylor.
Bobby Taylor, Angel Core, like Ruben War, one of those guys.
Yeah. Give me like a ranked fighter, something that I can show again that I'm on another level and I deserve to fight guys like Duran. I'm gonna be champion one day. I know everybody says that, but I got some work to prove. But I'm here and I'm gonna show up June 14th and prove it.
We're excited for you, man. We will be there, obviously. Like I said, Mike Mike will be a little tired, I think. He's going to be coming off of 2 weeks of training. I'm going to be coming off of 1 week of training. I only got to do 1 week of annual training this year, but Mike and I are both in the Army, by the way. So Mike is currently in another state right now doing his annual training. He gets home the day of your weigh-ins, I believe. Right? Is that what?
Yes.
Am I right about that? You get home the day of the weigh-ins. So I don't know if you're gonna be making it to the weigh-ins, are you?
No, probably not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll be
Well,
there.
if anything will wake you up, it's a bare knuckle fight, right? Or a bare knuckle venue. So
yep.
Yeah. So, but we will be there on the 14th. We'll be doing our thing. We'll catch up with you. I will catch up with you at the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And then best of luck to you in your fight in what I think you will agree is the most beautiful casino in the world. You're gonna love this fucking place.
I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to meet you guys in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we let you go, you want to take a minute, shout some people out, let the people know why they should be tuned in. Floor is yours.
Yeah, so shout out my manager, Kevin Smith, getting me a big fight on a big venue. You know, there's a card coming up in Canada, and it's obviously like the cards in Canada are a lot smaller than the ones in the US right now. So I'm blessed to be able to go to Mohegan Sun on a huge venue. Shout out Kevin Smith. Shout out my coaches, Eric Wilson and Cole Smith. Cole Smith is going to be flying out with me, just me and him, just like last time. And yeah, that's for shoutouts. That's about it. My coaches, Kevin Smith, and I can't wait to perform.
Don't miss this one, guys. I'm telling you, it is June 14th, and there's a lot of things going on June 14th. You guys got your event. You got the Ice Wars event. I think Dirty Boxing is the same night. So anybody that knows anything about the fight world knows that BKFC is the one to choose. You know what I mean?
It is the one to choose.
And then you can watch the Ice War. If they're, I'm sure they're not smart. They're smart enough to not put them at the same exact time, right? I don't know.
I was thinking, even a little risky on the same day, right?
I don't know, but they're all going to be on the app anyway. So if you don't see it live, you check it out on the app. Thank you so much for coming on here. When you get down into Connecticut, hit me up, and I will be around. So I will see you, but Mike and I will both see you on June 14th. Mike, do you got anything else for Nash?
We're both going to see you on June 14th, but you know what? Everybody else better be seeing them too.
Yes,
Barrett versus Diederichs. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Diederichs. Yeah, perfect.
Diederichs. Barrett versus Diederichs on June 14th at Mohegan Sun.
Slippery Pete versus the Ghost.
Slippery Pete versus the Ghost. Nobody's going to be able to really get a grip on each other. This sounds very, very sexual, but I assure you it is actually a bare knuckle fight at Mohegan Sun, dare I say, the best or one of the best fighting venues there is. And I cannot wait. And the after party is going to be great. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, you better be tuned in, or you better be at Mohegan Sun. Better yet, just go to Mohegan Sun and forget watching it on the app. Get to Mohegan Sun. Buy some tickets right now. They're selling out fast. Thank you so much for coming on,
having me, boys.
And have fun in Saskatoon. Saskatoon,
Saskatchewan, baby.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Have fun, and we will see you next week. Actually, we'll see you next week. I cannot wait. Everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Adios, man.
Here we go, guys. That was a great show. Mike, what do you think about that?
I thought it was fantastic. Man, every time Kyle and I, we book people and we're like, 20. We've never done a 20-minute interview, I think, in our entire life. I don't think it ever happens like that. We could talk to these people forever. We could have one show, one person. We could go 24 hours, I think, with them.
Guys, I am telling you, I am wholeheartedly telling you, when you get off the show with us tonight, stay on YouTube,
Yes.
look up Ian Heinisch, soft white underbelly.
Yes.
That
Do
guy
it.
has the craziest backstory, craziest life story, and he has really gone through it and made it out, and he's successful. It's pretty astounding, to be honest with you. The guy's a fucking an animal, and now he is involved in the Ice Wars with the BKFC, and I think it's going to be a great side gig for them. And I keep calling it a side thing, but I think it's going to be its own thing. I think it's really going to. NHL hockey is fucking massive.
It is.
And there's a bunch of goons every time you go to a hockey event, every time you go to a Bruins game up in Boston, if you go to a Providence Bruins game, there are a bunch of rowdy crowds. Those people also like to watch fights. So if they are tapping into the fight community and the hockey community and piecing them together, I don't see how this thing isn't going to be successful. And then, like I said to Ian, those 10-second, 15-second reels
Yes.
that they get out of Power Slap,
Yes.
hockey fights last freaking seconds most of the time. They're going to have a ton of viral videos out of this shit. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome shit. So, and then thank you so much for to Dan Chapman. So guys, no bullshit. I was down at the baseball field. I am literally hitting baseball. I got the kids in the infield and I'm hitting ground balls to them. And my phone keeps vibrating in my pocket. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I don't want to be that coach that pulls his phone out of his pocket, but like it vibrates like 4 times in a row. And I'm like, all right, I look and it's Dan. And he's like, boys, where you at? Hey, mate, I'm here. Been waiting like 20 minutes. And I'm like, fuck. I seriously thought that 9:25 p.m. Eastern was 6:25 in Bali. And man, did I fuck that one up. I was 3 hours
that's
early.
like California.
So Dan Chapman gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get on our show at 6:25 a.m. in Bali, Indonesia. And my stupid fucking ass is down at the baseball field hitting ground balls to our boys. And by the way, our boys made our championship for the little league that we are in.
Nice.
So we snuck into the playoffs as the lowest seed. We played the number 1 seed yesterday, Tuesday night. We beat them 18-5 to make the championship. So now we are playing the number 2 seed. We beat the number 1 seed to make it to the championship. And now last seed in the tournament, playing the number 1 seed, and we're going to fucking play spoiler, guys. We are going to do it. We are going to be Nash Diederichs in freaking Denver. That's what we're going to do. Nolan went 3 for 4, scored 3 runs. We beat him 18-5. I fucking felt so proud of these kids, man. It's awesome. Yeah. So championship game tomorrow night. I'll let you guys know if we win or not. So that's what I was doing. And thank you to Dan Chapman for understanding that we're not geography majors and I don't know my time zones. You know.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. You think that fight gets made? Dan and Kai?
Yeah, I do. I have faith. I have way more faith in that getting made than the Brandon Allen Kai Stewart fight getting made in the past. You know what I mean?
So like really, as we can Monday morning quarterback this shit real quick. As guys in the industry, right? You look at the 145 division. Kai is probably not going to fight Duran again for a while. HD is a 155er pretty much now. He says he still wants Kai, but that's kind of out the door. Oh, Bowls, Beers, and Brawl says Feldman has some Kai news coming. What I'm saying is we are hearing early fall Italy, right? Somewhere in the September to October range. If that's the case, I hope that this Feldman Kai Stewart news coming soon is something like that.
Well, it's not Tony Soto.
Right. It's not going to be Tony
It's
Soto or
155 stuff.
Teneglia. Those guys are out of the question. So
Right.
So
And the
it's
follow-up for that fight
dude,
is pretty much already
Are you
spoken
going to tell
for, I
me?
think, too.
Are you going to tell me that Kai Stewart's not going to want to go fight in like Rome, Italy, or like Verona, Italy, or whatever Italian city that they're going to be in?
Yeah.
Come on, man. If they said, Kai, you and Chapman in Italy, he's taking that. He's got to take that. He's going to keep expanding his wingspan, like, spreading his name around the world. Dan Chapman, Kai Stewart in Italy. Let's go. Let's make it. Book it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
And last but not least, thank you to Nash Diederichs for coming on here. And
Let's go, boy.
I was late on that, but I had to do it.
Anybody who is in the New England area, Mike and I say this every single time we said it to Nash. We will say it again. Come to Mohegan Sun.
Do it.
Josh
What are we waiting for?
Watson and Brendan Ward. Josh Watson and Brendan Ward are going to sell that place out.
Yeah.
Josh and Brennan.
It's going to be awesome.
But then you got Rick Hahn. You got John Howard. You got Casey. You got
Porter.
You got Parker Porter. You got Jorgen De Castro. You got Dylan Kleckler coming back. This card is Rico DeSculo. He is a huge star from Rhode Island. He's going to bring a bunch of people down. This card, they have so much local star. Randy Costa. Dude, come on. This card is so loaded. So loaded. So stacked, as Bowls, Beers, and Brawls is saying right there. I'm stacked. With local, big time talent. This is going to be a massive card. So you guys are in the New England area, get your asses to Mohegan Sun. Go to the event, come to the after party, hang out with Mike and Mish.
Yes. Do it.
Do it. With that said, Mike, I'm going to shout out our sponsors right quick. We got Dynamic Life at LIV Dynamic on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. Become a patient in 20 seconds. Weight loss, sexual health, and anti-aging. Dynamic Life is your spot. And the Rasha. Go to at Rasha Elite on Instagram. The link in the bio will get you to therasha.com. They are the official mindset and recovery tool of the BKFC and the Mike and Mish Show. Do it. Do it.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
Anything else for the people, Mike?
Well,
what do you got going on, dude? Are you doing like, dude, tell me, are you doing like 0-5 wake ups and fucking PT in the morning?
We do PT every day. We don't do it in the morning, though. We do it in the afternoon because I don't want to get up at 0-5. But we do PT every day. And I did PT today. I was going to run, we were going to do 10 miles. It has been like chilly here. It's the beginning of June, right? So like we're up in the mountains and it's a little bit colder than where we are from there in Connecticut and Rhode Island, right? So it's been pretty like not cold, but it's been chilly, like comfortable chilly. Today we're like, we're going to go out for a run. Let's do 10 miles around this lake. Dude, it was so hot today. Like way, it was like 20 something degrees. I did 5. It was like 20 something degrees hotter than it had been the last 2 days. The humidity was at 50%, which wasn't too bad. But man, I was running. I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. So I stopped and I told the other guy, like, go ahead, you could do more. And he like turns around and runs back and he's like, I'm too hot. I can't keep going. And I was like, oh my God, thank God he's thinking the same thing as me. Because I don't want to keep running right now. I was dying. I was so hot. I stopped that I found there was a bubbler. And for all those people who don't know what a bubbler is, it's a water fountain. I stopped and I pressed it and I was like, as I'm running, there was one like, cause there's like these beaches and there's a place where you can get canoes. It's a trail. It's a nice trail too. 5 miles around this lake, right? But you're in the woods for a while, then you're right at the edge. So you go by a couple little beaches.
One lap around is 5 miles.
One lap is 5 miles. So like I'm running and you get to a point where there's like these public bathrooms and a bubbler and I stop and I press the button. I go to take a sip. And as I'm leaning down, I think in my head, like, this is going to be steaming hot. And it was nasty ass hot water. I was sweating my ass off. And so I was like, I spit it all over the place. And then I hold it down for a while and just throwing it on my face. But like, oh my God. Yeah, it was too hot. It was too hot. And I am feeling the effects. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm feeling the effects. But no, we're not waking up at 5, but we're getting good work. We're doing good PT, and we are camaraderie like none other. They're actually out there. They all made a fire tonight. I've been seeing the group text going off the whole time. They're out there. They made a fire. They went out to go get some ramen at some Japanese place earlier.
Don't call anybody dead.
We do good stuff. You know what I mean?
Mike,
We
don't call anyone dead, even if there's
Dad?
a fire.
What the hell is even that?
You don't know, dude? Step Brothers.
Oh,
I'm not
even
gonna
if
call
there's
him
a
dad.
fire,
I'm not gonna call him dad. You're 40 years old, Brennan. I don't think I didn't expect you to call him dad, even if there's a fire.
Yeah.
So what you got to do, Mike, for this weekend is make sure you get every one of those motherfuckers to watch BKFC Albuquerque.
I will have it on.
Happening Friday night. Dave Mundell versus Donald Sanchez. The title is on the line. The number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world is putting his title on the line again against Donald Sanchez. And I'll be watching it here in Connecticut. You need to force all those guys to watch it with you down there. Get a few drinks, have a good time. And I want everybody to wish my boys. Our team name, by the way, is the Luchadors. How fucking great is that?
Do you guys gonna wear a bunch of luchador masks?
We have luchador masks. Yes, we do. Yeah, we got luchador rally masks. So everybody who's watching right now, thank you for tuning in all night long, checking out Ian and Nash and Dan. Yep. Give think about our boys. Think about the luchadors that are gonna go in there and play spoiler for the number 1 seed tomorrow night. I can't wait. Everybody have a great night. Mike, do you have anything else for the people at home?
Peace.